Welcome everyone to a new video in the Java Basics series brought to you by the ToborTech YouTube channel. In this video, we will be talking about how we can manipulate numerical data in Java. Specifically, we will be talking about the arithmetic operations, the math class, as well as the math.random method in Java programming. So without further ado, let's get into it. To start off, there are two most commonly used numerical data types in Java, which are the int and double data types. Ints are integers, so they store whole numbers that do not have any decimal values. Doubles, on the other hand, can store decimal numbers that can have fractional parts. The most common way of how numerical data are used is in mathematical operations, and below in this chart, you will find the arithmetic operations in Java. We have the plus sign, minus sign, asterisk, and forward slash responsible for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing two numbers. Lastly, we have the percent sign, which is the modulus operator, which will give us the remainder of a division. So if we have 11 modulus 2, this will divide those two numbers and give us the remainder of the operation. So 11 modulus 2 is going to be equal to 1. And here we have some examples that I'm going to copy and paste into the Java Online editor. And we can see, if I run this program, we'll get the answers that we expect for the most part. So 1 plus 1 is going to be equal to 2. 5 minus 2 will be equal to 3. 3 multiplied by 3 will be equal to 9. 5 divided by 2, however, will give us 2. We'll talk about this in just a moment. So 9 modulus 2 will be equal to 1, since that's the remainder when we divide 9 by 2. So what is wrong with 5 divided by 2? How is that equal to 2, while we would know that 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5 mathematically? Well, it turns out that in Java, the data types of the operands, so the numbers we're working with, will decide the data type of the result. So when both operands are integers, this is known as integer division, where the result is an int. So when we have 5, which is an int, divided by 2, which is an int, this will give us an int of 2. The remainder is going to be removed, so that 2.5, that 0.5 part will just get cut off, and it won't round up or down, it's just going to be removed. So if you would like to get a more precise answer for our division, then we can just simply add a 0.0 after one or both of the numbers in the operation. So if I copy this and paste this inside of our editor, we'll see that we get 2.5 as the result. And in fact, as long as one of our operands is a double, our result will be a double. So I can just have 5 divided by 2.0, and we'll get 2.5 as well, as you can see in the output. In addition to the arithmetic operations that we just talked about, Java also provides a collection of math-related methods in a class called math. Now, a class is something that we'll cover later on in this course. For now, you can think about a class as a collection of related operations. In this case, the math class has quite a few math-related operations, and here are some of the most useful. The math.abs method will give us the absolute value of x. The math.sqrt method, which we can pass a number into, will give us the square root of that number. Passing in x and y into math.pow will give us the result of x raised to the yth power. The math.min and math.max are both methods into which we can pass x and y, and math.min will give us the smaller value between those, and math.max will give us the larger value between x and y. Here are some examples that I'm going to put inside of our editor, and we can see the absolute value of negative 10.1 will be just 10.1. Math.square root 49 will give us a result of 7. Raising 2 to the third power, so 2 cubed, will give us a result of 8. The minimum value between 1 and 2 will be 1, and between those two numbers, the maximum value is 1291.2. In addition to the commonly used methods up here, the math class also has a method called math.random, which we'll go into in detail. So math.random is a method that we can use to generate a random number. And by itself, math.random returns a random number between 0, including 0, and 1, excluding 1. So in mathematical notation, this is what it's going to be. So it's going to include 0.0 and exclude 1.0. So I'm going to copy this. Notice how we write math and then dot random, a pair of parentheses, nothing inside. I'm going to copy and paste this inside of our main method and run this. Notice how we'll get a decimal value, 0.85, and then a bunch of numbers afterwards. I can run this multiple times, and you will see that this is indeed random. And we'll get a different number every time we run this method. And we'll get another number this time as well. And this is pretty useful when we want to generate a decimal number between 0 and 1. But what if we want to have a whole number between 1 and 10, say for a random number guessing game? Well, what we can do is we can, first of all, call this method, multiply it by 10, so we scale it up from a range of 0 to 1, we scale it up to 0 to 10. So that's what this is doing. And then we do this operation, which is called casting. We're basically converting this, which is a double, into an int. So this will be an integer. Think about if we have 0 to 10. Pretend this as 10 right here. So 0 to 10, excluding 10. Well, the remainder, the decimal part, will be just removed. So it's going to actually be 0 to 9, since 10 is not included. So this will give us 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. And then we add 1 to it, so everything is going to be added by 1, so it's going to give us a random number between 1 and 10. Now in general, if you would like to generate a whole number, an integer, between a minimum value and a maximum value, including both endpoints, then we can use this formula. We'll multiply math.random by the maximum value minus the minimum value plus 1. So this thing multiplied by this thing, cast it into an int, and add it to the minimum value. So just to show you how this works, I'm going to actually copy this and paste this inside of our editor. And we'll see we get 8 this time. I can run this multiple times and we'll get 10 this time. And I can run it again and we'll get possibly a different number each time. Since it may repeat after you run it quite a few times, we get 2 this time. So now let's practice what we learned today by predicting the output of the following math operations. What is going to be 10 divided by 3? 7 modulus 3, and passing in 3 and 3 into math.pal. So this 10 divided by 3 will give us an answer of 3. Remember how integer division is going to give us an int as the answer. So 10 divided by 3 in Java is equal to 3. 7 modulus 3 will give us 1, since 7 divided by 3 will be equal to 2 with a remainder of 1. And that remainder is what we care about. So 7 modulus 3 is equal to 1. Math.pal 3, so 3 cubed, 27. So we can test this by running this in our program. And we get 3, 1, and 27. And here's a challenge, which is a dice roller program. We'll use math.random to produce a random integer between 1 and 6. So this is kind of simulating how a dice roller program may work. Try it out on your own using this formula that's present here and come back to this video when you're done. And here's the solution to this problem. We can see we have math.random multiplied by 6, cast it into an int, and add it to 1. Where did 6 come from? Well, the maximum value, which is 6, minus the minimum value, which is 1, added to 1 will be 6. So we have 6 here. And 1 is just the minimum value, which is in our formula. And I'm going to actually copy this into our editor just to show you how this is going to give us. So what this is going to give us. And we get 1, and we get 3, and I can actually copy this multiple times just to show you whether this is going to give us anything that we didn't expect. And we get 6, 2, 1, 6, 3, 5, 6, 3. So everything seems to be working. And to summarize today's lesson, numerical data is really everywhere in our lives, and now you have Java as a powerful tool to quickly handle these data. And that's it for this video about numbers in Java programming. If you learned something today, don't forget to share this video and subscribe down below to the ToborTech YouTube channel. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section and our team will be more than happy to help you out. With that said, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in another video.